I'm Daniel Kraft, the CEO of Sitrion, and I'm here today with Rachel from the Community Roundtable. And you gave a presentation today, and a lot of people were really excited about what you had to say. Tell me, how did you experience the journey from the early beginnings when you had the idea, now today where people actually doing what you told them to do years ago?
When Jim and I were talking about this, we weren't actually talking about, okay, we want to build a company, what should we do? We were talking about the problems in the market, and we were looking at each other and saying, well, we're interestingly uniquely qualified to build this business that we really think needs to be built. Because without this skill set of managing people in networked environments, the market will not mature. Like, it's critical, and we don't believe the vendors can do it because somebody needs to be the champion of the manager, not the champion of the technology per se.
So when you're looking at the state of the market, there is the few that are really leading, some shining examples, and there are many who just woke up and say, hey, wow, we need to do something. What's your view? Where are we? Are we, through? Is it done? Is it mainstream?
If you look at Gartner's little hype cycle, I think we're on the slope of enlightenment. So I think we're still in the middle, but we're becoming mainstream. We now know what it takes to get a program like this successful, and our recent research this year kind of proved that out in an interesting way. When you look at the best performing communities from a process maturity perspective, 100% of those have approved strategies, and 76% have approved and resourced roadmaps, and 85% of those communities can prove their value. So we're not gambling anymore.
Today we had a panel, and 3 or 4 of the panelists had actually an opportunity to pitch their idea to the CEO. I mean, that's amazing. I remember a time when it was like, please don't tell my CEO that we do something like that.
Very secret. Yeah, very emergent. It's changed. It's definitely changed.
So when you're looking at us as a vendor or vendors in general, what's the thing you're missing? What's the thing we should address?
Well, one of them, as you saw, I saw today, at this conference, which is the engagement dashboard, which is something I've been beating my head against the wall about for a while, because the model we have for analytics is very driven off of web analytics, or at least that's what it evolved out of. But to me, the power and the value of communities is that they change behavior. So unless you're looking at behavior outcomes, you're not able as the community manager to understand where to spend your time. So things like telling me how many of my community members have filled out their profile is huge, because I want to know that everybody's present and accounted for.
You can even set targets,
right,
and work against those targets.
Yeah, which is huge, because to act on anything, you need to make it visible. So the first step is making, and the other thing that's really important to relationship is the density of relationships. So you're showing connection between people in the community, and that's huge.
So looking into communities and using them as a source for knowledge, or actually tapping into a big pool of people, that is a great way to get things that you need done better, and to make work better for the individual. On the other hand, the company has also certain rules that they need to follow. So, for example, if you want to change some of your things, like you want to make an entry in your time entry, and one of the ideas we have and implemented is bringing this into the same place in which all that communication is happening. Do you see anybody really picking up on this, or is this something that we have a long way to go to educate?
The technology is there. It's been there for a while, meaning through APIs and widgets, and you can assemble all of this in your environment. I think we haven't quite figured out what the ideal user experience is yet, or changed every user to the mindset of, I have a personal portal and that's where I do all my work.
So when you're looking forward, you have done an amazing work. Many of our customers love your work. They're actually members of your community. What's next?
To me, what's interesting is figuring out how to get both the networked business model and the networked engagement model to build the new style of company.
Well, thanks for your time. Really exciting to have you here, and thanks for the presentation you gave earlier, and some of the insights really inspiring. I'm looking forward to the next year.
And I loved your opening as well. I think your perspective on the market is fantastic.
Thank you.